So, are you ready for this?
Yes.
What do you think you're going to have some problems with, Amy, with your food sensitivity?
So this has been on my mind like since I had the test, and I think that white potato is going to come up, maybe like onion or garlic, and like maybe tomatoes or cucumber, and definitely lentils because they just never agree with me. And then like I'm gluten intolerant anyway, so figure maybe gluten will come up in there.
What are your main symptoms? What do you tend to suffer from once you've eaten those types of foods?
It's not every time I eat them, but sometimes when I eat them, I get really bad bloating and like really bad fatigue, really tired. I think potatoes is one, but then sometimes I can have it like earlier on in the day. Oats as well, like I always thought porridge was fine, and then sometimes I've realised that if I have porridge in the morning, later on in the day I feel really rubbish and I have like a crash. But then sometimes later in the afternoon I can have porridge and I'm okay. So there's just no pattern. So I don't know. So it's good that I can get the test done to actually stop the guesswork.
The problem is you could be trying to do an elimination type diet, but it actually takes ages to identify any correlations, any patterns. Whereas with a test, you know, right, I'm sensitive to this, I'm not sensitive to that. So at least then you can make that informed decision of avoiding that food.
Yeah, and I think it'll like change my life, in all honesty. I think because I've got like hormonal imbalances that happen sometimes, and I suffer with endometriosis as well.
Do you have any gut type issues? Do you bloat a lot? Any acid reflux?
Yeah, I do, and I think I spent my teenage years with like really bad bloating and really bad acid reflux, and then I was told that I'd had antibiotic damage that meant that I was gluten intolerant, but then I'm not celiac. But then I got tested at the doctors and they ran an allergy test for gluten, and it didn't come up as an allergy, so they were like, you can eat gluten, it's fine. And I was like, well, every time I eat gluten I get really sick, so I just cut gluten out when I was about 19, and I'm 35 this year, so I've had a long time without gluten. And then if I do eat it accidentally, I know that I've had it because I get acid reflux straight away, and I get like really bad indigestion, and it can last like a day. And then the bloating, I can just balloon, like my trousers don't button type ballooning. It's like almost cartoony, the amount that I swell up. It's like, what's her name in Willy Wonka? That's what I get like when I eat certain things. So yeah, it's really frustrating.
What I'll do, Amy, I'll discuss the main ones first, and then we'll work our way down with the order of reactivity, if that's okay.
Your tests are absolutely shocking. No, I'm only joking.
But bearing in mind how bad your symptoms are, these results are not too bad. We've only picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sensitivities, so that's okay. So your biggest one is egg white.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
But the egg yolk, you're fine with.
That is so interesting and makes so much sense.
Do you eat many eggs?
Not really, but then when I do, I sometimes feel really shit. I felt really tired and rubbish after, but I just thought it was down to like being tired.
So that's a classic side effect of having a food sensitivity. So going back over what you initially said about the oats. Oats have actually shown up as a negative, so as a green, so there's no reaction here. However, you have got a reaction to cow's milk. So what do you typically put with your oats?
Oat milk. I don't drink cow's milk, but I love ice cream.
Interesting. So problem is,
I really love ice cream.
Cow's milk is quite high, so 64 units per millimole. So anything to do with cow's milk, from yogurts, cheeses, ice cream.
Cheese.
I know.
I do love cheese, but...
So yeah, that's a no-go, I'm sorry. The next one are 3 nuts. So cashew nuts, pistachios and peanuts.
I'm anaphylactic to those nuts.
Are you really?
But I didn't know, I never knew about cashews.
All right.
I've just always been really cautious, and I've always suspected pistachio and cashew as well, but I just didn't know for certain. So this is amazing that I know now.
Sorry, there is another nut that's in the moderate category, which is Brazil nut, but it's a small reaction. But there is a small thing there. Your other sensitivities are brewer's yeast, baker's yeast.
What's that, sorry?
Brewer's yeast.
Brewers.
Oh, so for beer?
Yeah.
What? I mean, I only drink gluten-free beer anyway. I drink like gluten-free, alcohol-free beer, but is it like, oh my god, that's like one of my favourite drinks. No. Oh.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
So the one that's quite difficult to cut out is corn. So you've got a small sensitivity to maize starch. So a lot of people that go gluten-free and dairy-free, they get the issue with being corn sensitive because it's in a lot of those alternative foods. So just be aware of that.
So yeah, maize starch. Yeah. That's in so much that I eat.
So, but the interesting thing about wheat and gluten. So the test hasn't shown up a reaction to wheat and gluten. So I'm wondering, do you have an allergy rather than a sensitivity to wheat and gluten? Or is it the fact that the foods that you are eating with wheat and gluten in them have either the brewer's yeast or the baker's yeast? So is it the baker's or brewer's yeast that you're reacting to, not the actual wheat or the gluten protein itself?
That's fascinating. That might be right, because I think we all had like a team lunch a couple of Fridays ago, and the kids had got sourdough pizza and I had a gluten-free one, and as I was eating it I was like, this is so good. I can't believe that they can do sourdough that's gluten-free now, and I was like so over the moon about it. And then last Friday they got the same again, and the pizza I was eating tasted like a gluten-free pizza. And I said to everyone in the bar, and I was like, I think that maybe last week I accidentally ate a normal pizza, but I didn't have a reaction to it, and that might fit if it's sourdough.
Yeah, well, the problem is different people, they use different methods of baking. So you could, unless you're doing everything from fresh yourself, it's really difficult to pinpoint what those reactions might be from which sensitivities. But at least now you know which ingredients to avoid. I'll be honest with you, I expected more. From your reactions, I thought you'd have more, but it's a good thing. But it goes to show that it might just be one or two foods that are causing those reactions within your body.
Yeah, and is that all of them?
That's all, yeah. So there is a small reaction to casein, sunflower seed, white potato, celery, malt, pea, cranberry, flaxseed, goat's milk, and oranges. So that is a very, very small, but they're still green. But there is a small reaction there.
Like you said, white potatoes.
And those things always, yeah, oh my god, this is so cool. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're saying this now, you can't drink any alcohol, you can't eat any cheeses.
I know, I love cheese so much.
But it'll be worth it, and we're not telling you to cut them out forever. If you can give us, say, 3 to 6 months of avoidance, technically speaking, you should be able to tolerate them further down the line. So by reducing the volume that you're consuming initially, we should be able to put them back into your diet.
Yeah, I'm actually a bit relieved there's not many. I was so, my whole life I've always had gut health issues, and I've been on this journey for the last year experimenting with different things. And I spoke with a gut health specialist, and I had my gut microbiome tested, and strangely that came back saying that gluten was a no-go for me when I had the actual microbiome tested, but it also came back saying that I had severe antibiotic damage, and it looked like I was currently on antibiotics, and I've not had antibiotics in 6 years.
But when was that? When was that test done?
September, October.
So, that's a good, 4 months back? So maybe by avoiding everything in the meantime, you're starting to improve your gut microbiome. So in theory, you probably are being able to tolerate those foods a bit better these days. If you need us, give us a shout. You got my number. Any questions, fire them over.
I will do. Oh, thank you so much, guys.
Cool. No problem at all.
Brilliant.
Amazing rest of your day. Awesome.
Talk to you later.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Ta-ra.
Right, now that Amy's gone, I hope that's really going to help her, because it sounds like she's got quite a a lot of symptoms which affect her life, I guess.
Well, to be honest, I think a lot of those symptoms are side effects of the foods that she's eating. So hopefully by avoiding these foods for 3 to 4 months, she should see a massive, massive improvement.
It'd be great to catch up with her in 3 or 4 months and see how much she's improved since cutting out those food sensitivities.
By avoiding those foods from her diet, she should see a massive difference in the long term, especially with the symptoms that she's suffering from.
Fingers crossed.
Definitely.